landing the Easter Bunny for adults.
Once you get 200 miles out, you hit the Van Allen belt, which has an incredible amount of radiation. There's been no human that's gone beyond that belt since the moon landings, allegedly. So I want you to just Google the temperature of the Van Allen belt. And then I want you to Google what material the shuttle was made out of. This literally doesn't make sense that an aluminum alloy could have gone through the Van Allen belt for an hour and a half or 59 minutes. It just couldn't have happened. Literally can't happen. There's no explanation for it. They just don't even talk about it. They don't like talking about the Van Allen belt because that part makes entirely no sense. And then the camera, they decided to give them to a guy who makes movies.
So I really feel sad for Candace Owens for doing this because like she could have spent 5 seconds actually reviewing why they were able to go through the Van Allen belt. It's because of the speed they were going through. And also, I know it's really hard to understand. This room is the temperature it is because the air molecules in here. If there were no air molecules in here, what would the temperature be? Anybody know physics? What anybody know?
3 degrees.
No, it would be
Kelvin.
nothing. No,
0.
Temperature is only a manifestation of molecules bumping into each other. But you're right. If you go in perfect vacuum up in space, it's negative 270 degrees Kelvin. When you're going through there because there were no particles hitting the actual spaceship and because it was rotating and because they went through it and going like, I want to say 16,000 miles an hour or whatever. That's the reason why the Van Allen belt didn't cook anyone. The other thing is once the astronauts actually got to the Van Allen belt, they had a Geiger counter, whatever, and it really didn't show that much radiation. They have vastly over anticipated how much radiation was there with the Van Allen belt. That's the reason why. She could have looked that up, but she didn't want to because it's this new Republican like conspiracy theory trope to not believe that we landed on the moon when we did. The second thing is like the whole thing with the cameras. Yeah, I mean, at the end, they wanted to give it to somebody who was a movie maker. Like what? They didn't want to just leave them for nobody to use. That is not proof that we didn't land on the moon. It is one of the most ignorant things in the world to think that because something was hard, we didn't do it. We absolutely could have landed on the moon. There were 600,000 people that worked on Gemini and Apollo. 600, and they are all just lying psychopaths who made this shit up. There is a video when you go to land on the moon, when the moon landing happens, where there's a wave pattern that happens as the jet hits the ground. If you've ever like take a blow dryer and you push it into sand, you'll see it's an actual regular disbursement pattern. That wave pattern is only possible in a vacuum. There are no vacuum chambers in 1969 where it's possible to do that. But my favorite thing for the moon landing deniers, you can eat a dick because you can't explain this one away. Get ready, moon landing deniers. Do you know who the first person to congratulate the United States on landing the moon was? Anybody? Ready? Nikita fucking Khrushchev. If the Russians were sitting there lying for us, do you honestly believe that shit? We beat the Russians to the moon, and Nikita Khrushchev, who had every possible ability to actually see whether or not we land on the moon, they congratulated the United States. Tell me how the fuck that one works. And the last one, if I were to take a laser right now and shine it in the scene of tranquility, right there where the retro reflector is, where Neil Armstrong left it in June of 1969, you know what happens? I get a laser beam right back in 2.2 seconds because the speed of light is 186,282 miles a second, and the moon is 238,900 miles away.
But Mike, jets don't work in a vacuum.
Jets don't. Yeah, they do. Because you're leaving repellent back there.
Let me get the rest of these.
Scram jets don't work, but yes, you're right. Jets do. Anyway, the thing that makes me so sad about the moon landing deniers is that you could take 5 seconds to look at the other side and you never do. And one other thing, if you're left-handed, a former Marine, and you have a Carcano rifle firing at an object moving away from you at 2 miles an hour at 75 yards, yes, Lee Harvey Oswald could have shot John F. Kennedy by himself. And any fucking Marine who stood up there would agree with me. This idea that he couldn't have shot John F. Kennedy, was there a conspiracy? Maybe. But this idea that Oswald couldn't have shot Kennedy, because, listen, moon landing denier and Kennedy assassination conspiracy theorist, there's a fucking thin membrane between the two of them. There's a very thin membrane. Anybody wants to debate me, you are welcome to come on my live stream and get humiliated anytime you want.
Mike, all of the Challenger people died are actually alive. They are all survivors. Yes, I just wanted you to know.
No, I don't.
This is my favorite part. Like when he gets all worked up over like flat Earth and moon landings.
I don't hate. Somebody says I hate conspiracy theories. No, MK Ultra really was mind altering. It was something the CIA did. Sure. No, there's actual things that actually did happen in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was a firebombing of a black neighborhood that happened in 1921 that nobody ever talks about. That really did happen. There are all kinds of the Tuskegee experiments they were actually allowed allowing African American men to contract syphilis. That really did happen. These idea that I don't believe in any conspiracy theories, of course I do, but some of them have evidence to them, and some of them do not. 600,000 people worked on Gemini and Apollo. The reason why there were no conspiracy theories about us landing on the moon back in the 1980s is because they were still alive. Now that most of those people are dead, these fucking entitled fucking millennials think that they could just shit on Neil Armstrong's grave. It's just so fucking ridiculous. And they make it, they doctor these fucking videos. Oh, Buzz Aldrin said we never landed on the moon. No, that's not what he said. He said we were either supposed to go to Mars or go to the moon. He goes, why didn't we go? He goes, why didn't we go to Mars? And he goes, we didn't go to Mars. He didn't say we didn't go to the moon, but these people have to fucking bastardize what he said because you don't have a life. Because something is hard, you think it's impossible because your life is hard and other people are succeeding and you're not succeeding. So it must be a fucking conspiracy. That must be the problem.
See, I love it when you bring it all the way back around and say, you're the fucking problem. You better do better, motherfucker.
If you think no human could go through the Van Allen belt, I can't wait to see how that whole thing, like once Elon Musk in the next 10 years sends someone else to the moon. By the way, the Indian Space Administration literally photographed they photographed the Eagle lander and the Sea of Tranquility not even 2 months ago. So they're in on it too. It's so fucking ridiculous. Once we start getting people to go back to the moon, I can't wait to see how this fucking thing ages. And she acts like, no, it's all a conspiracy. I don't care if it's $100,000, $200,000. I will pay $200,000 someday if it's that affordable to sit in a fucking space capsule with Flat Earth Dave and watch tears come down his face and video this motherfucker while we're orbiting the planet Earth for the first time, and he can see that the bitch is round. I cannot wait for that. Because here's the thing: you want to know why space exploration to me is incredible? Because we get to take flat earthers up there. That's what I can't wait for. That's what I can't wait for.
Yeah, what is it? Where the Virgin Atlantic has like the space flight. They'll take you up in the space plane.
Dude, they don't need that. That's not true. Dude, the Virgin Atlantic shit, they don't go above 265,000 miles.
You can't see the curvature of the Earth.
You can't see the curvature of the Earth. It's not really space.
Damn, I'm disappointed. I want to take John Zerka out there.
Yeah, there's definitely astronauts who traveled 20 years and like are around Jupiter. Yeah, it takes 20 years to get there.
Yeah, but there's no astronauts that have left. They're going past the moon.
Did you see it last millennial?
Right. It would. You would think if we can go
Mike,
past,
there are hundreds of
like
thousands of UFO sightings. They can't all be a hoax.
How come one of them isn't real? How come I can shoot in 4K at 60 frames a second and you can't get me better footage than this shit? I can watch Nicki Minaj throw a fucking heel at Cardi B in fucking 4K, but you can't show me a fucking alien spaceship. Get a life. Get a fucking life. Fix your fucking business. You have a dry dick and you're fucking poor and you're sitting there telling me about aliens. You're a loser. Sorry, my bad. I apologize. It's too much caffeine.
Proto molecule. All right. Rational Redneck, can we start a GoFundMe to get Michael on a spaceship with a flat earth? I tried. I actually tried to do that with John Zerka, but he wouldn't bite.
John Zerka. We were going to talk about flying over the South Pole.
Oh, that's right.
But like, there's no way they're going to let us do because their whole religion would get.
This is the best part. Yeah. Okay.
If you're a successful man, sick of lone wolfing it through life, and you want to build a high status social circle with successful guys like you, and date incredible high quality women, well, that's what Men of Action is all about. We will help you forge alliances with power players, celebrate epic nights in luxurious locations like Monaco, and completely transform your dating life. You'll go from settling with scraps on dating apps to enjoying amazing dates with legitimate models. If this sounds interesting to you, click the first link in the description to join our exclusive VIP community so you can network with high-level people in any city you want.